Audio Muglex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, it's just getting morning. That sunshine coming up over the hills there. Yeah, just me and the dog at home right now. I don't know. Sometimes, I tell you, I don't know what goes through their brains, but they, raced off to baseball practice and left a dog outside. Dog's not an outside dog. He is. He's also very not happy about being down here. But I mean, I guess I could take him up, put him in his kennel. You know, the dog's out there. He's barking to come back in. Why would you just rush off for an hour and a half baseball practice and just leave him outside? He'll be all right. Bark, 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 bark. That's what he do. All right. This looks like a burnt down barn. It could have something useful inside, though. And if I want to go in, well, this door is unlocked, so. Oh yeah, look at that. There's definitely some crates up there. No zombie. So, let's see. Didn't record this week, basically, until I recorded an episode yesterday, which is Wednesday. I recorded a ton of stuff on... Oh, here's a hidden crate in here, too. On Friday or Saturday, one of those two. And been putting them out over the week. I might do it again this week too. I kind of liked not having to try and cram in recording on those days. Tuesday should be the easiest day for me to record, but this week I went and got my first shot for the Pfizer vaccine. Which is a funny story. I'll tell you a funny story. So I head out to... Okay, first off, my local town does not have vaccines at all. So I had to drive to a different town. I don't know why they don't have them. But I went to Rite Aid, which is a pharmacy chain. And they... we have one here. But for whatever reason, no vaccines. And then the other one had vaccines every day of the week. So it was really strange to me because they're only 20 miles apart. Oh, there's like bears everywhere, man. And so it's a, you know, why, oh, jeez. Why does one have it and then the other 20 miles away not have it? I don't know. And it was more like 27 miles away. But anyways, that's not the funny story. This is the funny story. So I drive out there, and there's some paperwork I had to do. So I did a little bit of paperwork, and I didn't have to do the paperwork. They did the paperwork. I just answered questions. And then you go back and so they stop you at the front door, and you got to answer these questions. And then after you answer the questions, you take the paperwork to the back of the store, and then they take the paperwork, and then they send you to a third location where you wait. I don't have to wait very long. It was just you're supposed to be there like 5 minutes before your appointment, and so I had walked in about 5 to 8 minutes before my appointment, and so there was a woman already there waiting, and the pharmacy comes out, and he's a little dude. Um, oh, it's on my hotbar, right? He's a little dude, and I am not a little dude. Uh, he was probably 5'2", somewhere in there. So he's like a foot shorter than I am. This is important to this story, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I feel like the dude was intimidated. Um, and so I walk over and he comes out and he's like, your names. And so we both give him our names. And he's like, all right, I'll take her first. And I'm like, well, she was here first, so sounds good to me. And she's like, well, I just turned my paper in. And I'm like, oh, I just handed her my paper and walked over here. So she follows him into this back room. And I sit down because I don't know how long it's going to take. And I'm sitting there and I'm not close enough to hear what he's saying, but I can hear him talking. And like if it's a short, clip thing, like roll up your sleeve or something, I can understand that. But he was giving her some information about the shot, as it said they were going to do, and so I'm like, all right. And then I do hear him say, 15 minutes, and she says, can I wait in my car for 15 minutes, or do I have to stay here in the store? And he says, no, you need to stay in the store. And she's like, oh, so like I can walk around and do some shopping or something then? And he's like, yes. And she's like, okay. He's like, all right, you're good to go. And so then he comes out and he looks at me and he says, no, he asked us what our names were before. And then he asked me again my name. So those are the only two things so far he has said to me. What's your name? What's your name? And so I give him my name again. And then he just turns and walks back in the room. So I follow him. I don't know. And and so then he walks over to this table and his back is to me. And I look and I see that oh, nice. Steel is always nice. Since I can't make it. I see there's like this tray with shots in it. And so I'm like, well, I guess you're probably going to need a shoulder, because he still hasn't said anything to me. And so I take off my coat and I start pulling up my sleeve, and I'm like, I don't know how high up you need the sleeve. And so I pulled it about 3/4 of the way up, and then he turns and he grabs a hold of it and he pushes it all the way up. And then he weighs my arm down with the alcohol pad, and then sticks the needle in and gives me my shot. And then he turns and he puts the needle in a different container, and then he turns back and he squeezes my arm a little bit where he gave me the shot, and he says, you're good to go. And that's it. That was my whole interaction with the dude. What? He didn't give me any kind of instructions. He didn't ask me to roll up my sleeve. I did that. He didn't tell me to wait in the store for 15 minutes. He didn't say he was about to give me the shots. There was no chit-chatting going on like he did with the person right in front of me. I'm just like, that is the weirdest interaction I've ever had with someone who's provided me with medical care. Like, just bizarre. I mean, not that I had a problem with it. I don't care if they talk to me or not. But you'd think that he'd at least be like, all right, I'm going to give you the shot now. You know, if you got a problem with needles, don't look or whatever. Or, you know, at least something. So, knowing that the paperwork said you're supposed to wait 15 minutes and I heard him, they weren't in the same room with me, so it's not like he just assumed that I heard what he had told her. They were technically 2 rooms down from where I was at. It was just loud enough for me to barely overhear some of what they were saying. So it was weird. It was weird. It was a weird interaction. So I... Oh, dang it. Stupid vulture. I saw that vulture fly over and hit me in the back of the head. So yeah, that was my trip on Tuesday. I didn't have any symptoms at all. So, where's my bike? There it is. I was kind of surprised. I expected, when I got my flu shot, I got a big bruise and a big knot on my arm that lasted for like 2 or 3 days. And so I was expecting a similar reaction, but I didn't get anything. I barely even felt the needle when he put it in, so I'm not saying he did a bad job. It was just weird that he didn't speak to me. Because he was very chatty with the person before. So, I don't know. Yep. And then Tuesday night, we played D&D. It was my... we don't normally play on Tuesdays, but we're going to do the my made-up version of D&D on Tuesday nights. And so they didn't really do anything. I haven't planned it out at all. I don't know anything basically about the world. I gave a starting position. I wanted them to develop the worlds rather than give them specific things to do. And so they basically they created characters and they're pulled into another world, and oh, I missed. And so they are dressed as they were when they were on Earth. They know nothing about what's going on, and they don't really have any skills. So they're not a class because it's classless D&D. And so the idea behind it is that every time they do something, they get experience points in that thing. And so I want to see if it works to tailor abilities and skills to how you play your character. And so far they're not really like doing a whole lot. Dog, I am doing something here. And so they mostly just went with the crowd. They landed in a city that was under attack by a large horde of monsters. And the monsters are not in the city, though. Um, they're outside the walls, but they're probably going to break through. The town guard, which was plentiful, um, was holding back the horde, uh, as it's called in the game, because I'm lazy. And while they got everybody evacuated, and so once they pretty much got everybody evacuated, so then that would have been last night. They started at the gates as everybody was just leaving the city. Then I didn't know what they want to do. I don't know how they want to interact with this world, and so I throw out a few things and like uh, people's wagons broken down, and they have to find each other, and um, uh, they the rulers of the city are wizards, and so they actually flew up and uh, created a volcano at the gate. I knew the wizards. This is how much I planned for last night or for Tuesday night. I knew the wizards were going to seal off the path. That was it. That was my whole plan. That is all the prep work I did for the evening. Um, I already have a map of the world that I got from a website that will randomly generate fantasy world maps. And then there's another. Okay. There's another site that will generate random town maps. And oh no. And so I did all that. And so it's not like I'm not somewhat prepared. And so they I guess I expected them to interact with the world a little bit more than they're doing. So we went over how like they don't have any food. They barely have any water. Um, they're marching. They don't have the right equipment. They don't have any real equipment at all. They don't have money, and stuff like that. And so I thought they would, I don't know, interact with the world some more. Um, but so far, they did help some dudes fix a wagon, and so they did get some boots. I think they actually helped some people carry their stuff, and then asked if they had any boots for the one guy because he was in rubber boots, which are not made for marching up and down mountains. And then they got a cloak because the one guy had jumped in just a t-shirt, and uh, and then I started throwing out some other things along the way, since they didn't seem interested in really trying to get food or water or anything. And so I mentioned there was some ruins nearby, and they didn't go to that either. So they didn't want to check out the rulers with their magic. They didn't want to check out the ruins. Now, admittedly, they don't have any skills, so I can understand being a little hesitant, but um, I mean, I would have come up with something along the way. And so they basically just followed the crowd for a few days as they worked their way to this city, the next city. And there's been refugee camps set up for the evacuees, and or evacuee camps, I don't know. Tents and stuff outside the city, food and blankets and, that kind of thing. And so that's where they ended. They haven't done enough to get any points yet, so it'll go a little faster when they get into like combat. But oh, see you coming for me here. But they haven't done too much yet. And then last night we played D&D as well. This is the other guy's D&D. So last session with him. Oh, geez, I'm being overwhelmed. Last session with him, we I'm sure I talked about it before. With him, there's dark vision in the game. I got interrupted by Alexa there. And so the way dark vision works is you have a limited distance you can see if there are no lights. So the problem is that it's not a problem. We don't carry lights. We just don't. And we're pretty loose on the rules for dark vision because technically I believe it's 30 feet you can see and 30 feet would be dim light, which is supposed to make it difficult to see. We never do that. We just do the 60 feet and go with it. 60 feet of dark vision. So the creatures we're fighting, right, were the drow that we talked about before. They can see 120 feet. And so we can't see them. And so when we look, all we see are a couple of guards who are near where we're at. And so even though the area we're at is on one side of a bunch of pillars, and the guards are a long way away from anybody else, stealth attacking and killing one of those guards immediately alerted everybody in the room, according to our DM. Because that's how he likes to run the games, is everything that can possibly attack us gets in these big giant groups and attacks us. And so it's not little groups of people, and it doesn't matter how we try to tactically play it out. We are going to get attacked by everything in the room as rapidly as possible. And then he gets mad at us for how much damage we're taking. Although, as we were playing last night, once again, I don't believe he's not cheating, because every attack from a character that could do real damage to my characters landed with a hit of low 20s or higher. Everyone. Not, oh look, I got a nat 20. We went the whole fight last night and no one of the players got a natural 20. No one. He hit my characters 3 times, he said, with a natural 20. He doesn't let us see his dice rolls. So we don't know what he actually rolls. But if he rolls them or not, he gets an unnatural amount of 20 rolls. A very unnatural amount. And so here we are rolling like, I mean, one round I rolled like a 12, a 7, and a 9, right? None of which hits the bad guys. So it's 3 attacks that my guy does 3 attacks in a round. 3 attacks. He accomplished nothing that whole round. Meanwhile, I got hit by 220s and another number that was high enough to hit me in that same round. So, yeah. Uh, anyways, that's not my issue with what happened. What happened was this: we fought the queen and her people, and we were discussing. Well, we try to discuss. He doesn't really like us to talk. He kind of talks over us and then asks a single person what they want to do, and then makes that the thing that happens a lot of the time. And last night was one of those nights where he would not let us have a conversation with each other about what we wanted to do. Uh, and so it was like, so what do you guys want to do? And then uh, we had, he wanted us to leave the dungeon. And so we left the dungeon because he said he had some quest things he wanted us to do in town, which is a lie. He didn't have quest things for us to do in town. He had... Interesting. Where do you think that guy came from? Sometimes I am confused by where bad guys come from in this game. That guy just magically appeared and killed me, as far as I can tell. I don't even know where I was at. What building was I searching? Must have been this one. Because I searched this room, he was not in there, he's not in there. There's nowhere to fall from up above, is there? Oh, there is. That's where he came from. He fell down on my head from up there. I didn't even know that was a thing in these places. So anyways, he really, really wanted us to go... Is there a ladder up there then? I don't know how to get up there. There appears to be like a whole section up there. Okay, well I can't jump up there. I don't know where that guy came from. I was looking at this door, I thought, when I died, so I don't know. I want to know what's up there now. Get out of here. So, he really, really badly wanted us to go back to town last week. And so we did. We were discussing whether or not we could take the group. But then he was like... He left us without enough XP to go up our level. 1,000 short, which is like nothing at the level we're at. So he basically just didn't want us to level up last week. Because I'm pretty sure he had decided last week, and this is why he wanted us to go to town. Oh, it gets... man, just thinking about what happened last night. Getting me worked up. So he tells us that he's going to let us get some new items from town because we have a lot of money. And the problem is that he doesn't want to item out shops. He doesn't want to figure out what's in the shops. He wants us to tell him what he wants there to be in the shops. But then he doesn't give us what we want from the shops. Well, he doesn't give me what I want from the shops. And And so, oh man, I need to hurry because I have another story after this one that I want to tell. Um, it's a short one, super short one, but so we're in town after we've left the Queen's place, um, and that's where we started. Was in town. So we start in town, and he asks us what we want, and then he says he has to make a phone call, and so then he leaves, and he's gone for like 30 minutes at least, because he's always taking air quote work calls while we're supposed to be doing things, and that I don't believe that he gets calls that are necessary because I know what he does for a living. I don't believe he gets calls that are necessary for him to take immediately when uh, we're playing. Like, it wasn't an emergency. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't an emergency. And so I don't know if I've got enough ammo to finish this place. Because it seems to me there's a isn't there like a bunch of there's like a bunch of guys through here, right? Why can't I? They're in there, I think. Yes. Holy crap, yes. Oh, crap. That's a big one. I... Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, no. Dang it. That'd have been a great opportunity. It's the first one of these I've seen. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, let's finish the story. So we go into town. He asks us what we want. Then he leaves us for like 30 minutes. So we're looking through the things. I didn't hear what level of item he said we could look for. And the other guy said, he said it'd have to be rare, maybe very rare. So very rare would be the next level up from what we currently had, because we already did rare items a long time ago. And so I already had all these rare items on me. And rare items in the game aren't like when you say rare, it sounds like, oh, it's super special. It's not. It's like a sword that hits slightly easier. So you roll your when you attack with a sword, you roll your dice, and then it tells you if you hit or not. If you have a magic sword, it might be a +1 sword. So when you roll your dice, you add one number to it to see if that hits, right? We're not talking like automatic hit and the heads of the monsters come off, right? I'm not talking that level of gear. Um, and dang it, I need you to be dead so I can fight this thing. You're not dead. Dang it, that soldier. Oh, I almost had him. I don't know if I almost had him. I really want those boxes though. So, anyways, the one guy, we're looking through stuff, and he's always making bad guys go invisible. And so the one guy found a dagger that lets him sense invisible creatures. It basically lets you see invisible creatures. You can't see them, but you can sense where they're at, and so it doesn't affect your attacks and stuff like they normally would. And so he gets that. It's like super powerful. It's a dagger that lets you see up to 30 feet with blind sense. right? So what do I want? I want a belt that's one level better than what I'm using, which would increase my attacks by 1 point. That's it. That's that's all I wanted. Nope, nope. That's too powerful. That's too powerful. This is the wrong building. Dang it. And so no, I got 0 items. He let me have 0 items last night. Um, he wouldn't even discuss it. That's not true. I guess my this is what's weird. He let my he wouldn't let my fighter get a very rare item, but he let my bard get 2 very rare items plus 2 swords. I really don't know what goes on in his head. Um, I really don't. The things that happen is just bizarre. Is this not dynamite? Dang it, I thought that was dynamite. Oh, good, my guy stopped fighting. Anyways, let's finish these stories, and then I'll just call it here. Um, so yeah, so no items, and then we go back, and what does he do? He's arguing over whether or not we took the same route to town or back, because there's a chance that you can take tons of damage. And so um, we're like, why wouldn't we just come back the same way we left? And he's like, well, you might want to come back the other way. And we're like, well, no, we would just come back the same way we left. We were coming back to the same spot. I mean, it's a chance there could be a good thing for taking that other route. Yeah, no, we're not taking the other route. We're not going to run the risk of taking massive amounts of damage, because that's what's happened to us twice now from these stupid teleporting mirrors. And so um, he filled the room with bad guys that we had already cleared. That was the whole reason he wanted us to leave and come back, was so he could fill the room again with bad guys. And so we killed them all. Anyways, it wasn't hard to fight through. There was just a lot of them. And the problem is that if we fought them in tiny amounts, it would be different. And we would use up our abilities and stuff as we go. But because he makes us fight large groups all at once right after we rested, we have all our abilities. And so we just drop big spells on these groups of creatures. And if they die, I mean, that's how it works. And so that's what we did. So we did get to go up our level. We got like 2,800 XP. Like I said, 1,000 is not a big deal to get at our level. Don't know why he didn't let us get it last week, or not last week, but the last time we played. So yeah. So I got one more little tiny story I want to tell. So we've been joking about him and us playing Final Fantasy together, because he really seems like he doesn't want to play with us. It's a long way back to my house. And so we'll get on to do stuff as a group, and then he just don't want to do it as a group. And then other times he'll be like, we got to get on and play together. We got to do it now. And we're like, well, we're working on this other thing. Oh my, jeez. And so we've been working on these relic quests, right? And he really doesn't want us to do the relic quests. Or he does want to do the relic quest. Or no, he refuses to do relic quest stuff with us, he says. And then he's like, all right, I'll help you guys out. And then he's like, maybe I'll do the relic quests too. And then he's like, no, I'm going to wait until the later relic quest. And then he's like, no, I'm not doing the relic quest because there's no point, because when you get to the highest level in the game, there's better gear out there than Wow. She took a lot of hits for being a... Am I on the wrong? No. Why did she take so many hits? So, he has started doing the relic quests now without mentioning it to anyone. And so last night, after we were done with D&D, he says, the one guy had already logged off because, you know, it was after midnight. And, you know, that guy's got to get up and go to work. And he's like, does anybody want to run this one dungeon with me? And so the other guy, he says, no, I don't have time tonight. I got to get up early in the morning, so I'm going to bed. And I'm like, I'll run it with you. I still got a little bit of time here. And he's like, all right, well, I guess maybe we can do it another day then. I guess I'll just go to bed myself. And I'm like, dude, I just said I'd run it with you. He's like, well, I don't know if we could do it. I'm like, I'm thinking I might have soloed that one, so it should be pretty simple. I can run it on my healer or something, you know? And he's like, no, you know, I think we'll just run it a different day. I'll go with a group of other people. I'm like, dude, it won't take us long to do this thing. What are you talking about? He's like, no. And then the other guy, he logs off because he's going to bed. And he's like, no, I just, you know, I figure I'll just go to bed myself. I'm feeling tired. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I see how it is. I see how it is. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know what I mean. He's like, oh, yeah, right. I don't want to do things with you guys. I'm like, yeah, isn't this a prime example of it right here? You want to do it when the other guy is on in case he wants to do it, but when I want to do it with you, you're like, no, I don't want to do it now. He's like, well, no, I'm tired, and I regretted even asking as soon as I said it. I'm like, it won't take us, like, fine, whatever, it's your guy, you do what you want. But it's bizarre. It's bizarre. There's only 4 of us. One of us wasn't on. He asked when 3 of us are on. The other guy says he's not doing it, and then suddenly he doesn't want to do it when the other guy doesn't want to do it. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna call it here. So, I thought maybe we'd find another town out through here. I don't have any ammo, so I need to go back home to get ammo anyways, but this is all new. Dang it. Dog chewing on my butt territory. Yep. Be better than small things. Lean to the light. And looks like we did find something here. We'll talk to you later.